So we are a women-centric investment firm. And why that matters is not because we're trying to be on any type of social justice platform. That's not what it's about. It is about the empowerment of it. It's about the fact that women are badasses and you actually finally can. And when you come together, have support systems, have the actual sophistication and the technology and tools and terminology in place for you with people that actually care, and we're outside of that Wall Street propaganda, that you can actually make the real change that you're wanting in a life by having the accessibility. So I'm out here to create accessibility. That is me in black and white. We're wanting to build wealth for women today to fund the future tomorrow. And so I love Flippa. We are huge fans of Flippa, but also just the idea of buying a business. And so in a nutshell, making this as easy as 1, 2, 3, we're out there to buy a business, buy it with you. So we're a private equity firm. Myself and my co-founder, Camilla, are running an investment company, and we're in the business of buying businesses. We did this to solve a problem that we were having in our own life. But as we started talking about it, we realized how common it was that other women were also not understanding this process or not being shown this process, or the fact that this was an option when they were speaking with financial managers, financial planners, or investment advisors. So we manage the end-to-end process. We find and buy profitable businesses, and we make them available to women. So getting women on the cap table is what we're about. We also provide the roadmap, and right here at the top, parting the seas of BS. I literally cannot stand when you speak to people in the financial realm and they want to baffle you with their bullshit. So there's just a lot of jargon that makes this entire landscape inaccessible, and we found that to be a real problem. When you talk to a woman one-on-one, as we just did in the chat, what is it that this is about? And you break it down into what are the challenges that they're having. These questions are really simple, and we found it to be a problem that the answers aren't equally as simple. So things like, I need to save for my retirement. I want to invest, but I have no idea where to start. And I'm investing, but why the F is it taking so long? We know that when women have money, that they just move it differently. And that right there is the number one reason why they should have it. I believe that most women are philanthropists and humanitarians at heart, and that there are social and cultural barriers that have been instilled in us through our programming, through our media, through just different mechanisms in society that either tell us that we can't, and then we believe that that's our narrative, which I don't believe we need to adopt any particular narrative, and or the systems are out of reach or the access to them is distorted. So in other words, I'm being very polite about saying, in general, you need to be really wealthy to access these kinds of things. And I was very tired of it. So I want to address the latte factor. There's a well-known economist, Dr. David Bach, who wrote a book, and he coined this term, the latte factor. And I'm sure tons of you have heard of it. He provided math around if you just saved your buying your coffee outside of home, and you made it at home and cut back on your expenses, lunches, etc., that you would then have this much more saved to invest and do whatever with. A ton of firms then took that marketing message and ran with it. And marketing around women's investment changed forever because of that. Women have always been left out of the investment landscape, but those type of statistics did nothing to help us. And a few years later, his math was actually dispelled. So in our research, what we've done, we've found that in general, most asset managers or financial managers actually aren't even speaking to women at all in terms of their marketing or their messaging. And so we're completely neglected by the financial industry as a whole. Last thing, this huge headline that I didn't read out because you can already see it. $3.2 trillion is what is estimated to be in women's savings accounts across the world, losing dollars to inflation every day. That is how much would be unlocked if we got women investing. Money myths. Let's dispel what we're doing here and some of the most common beliefs. If you share this belief, I would love to hear what your beliefs are in the chat so we can address them and hear what it is that's going in your mind. So this is what we hear most often. I need tons of cash. Nope. I need to be an accredited investor. Yeah, maybe sometimes, but also there are solutions. I need a finance background to do this. Nuh-uh. Buying business are for pro investors and the ultra wealthy. Nope. We've heard several excellent speakers already today that is the average person that's buying businesses on Flippa, for example, right? So the owner operator. I won't understand the jargon. I promise you I'm building a company that doesn't use jargon, and only the cool kids do this. Also super not true. I'm not seeing any limiting beliefs in the chat, and I don't believe that anyone in this audience doesn't have a limiting belief. Share what they are. So why now? All this talk of recession. Are we in a recession? Yes. Is participating in a recession something that you must do? No, I believe that it's optional. That might be a radical thing to say, but the truth is that we are entirely in control of our own futures and in the capital that's in our own hands, however much or however little that might be. I do want to take a minute to address here something that is not on this slide and just take recognition of what's happening for us socially that is news around women that's really hard to ignore. And that's the revolution, and I'm going to use the word revolution, that's happening in Iran at this exact moment, where women and children are actually standing up to their government and requesting change, demanding change in the line of fire for change. So when we say why now, why not? Like there is never going to be a time where it's going to be ideal. We needed change yesterday. And the fact that it's now taking women and children, the defenseless people in our society, to really stand up and demand change, I think is speaking volumes. One thing that anyone in my sphere hears me say very often is that the paradox of privilege is to not use it. I'm just going to repeat that. The paradox of privilege is to not use it. It is extremely wealthy that women have money. Extremely wealthy. It's extremely important that women have money. It is the most important time culturally ever that we have money, not because of these revolutions, not because of governments. Bring it back into your own home and what it means when you have money and cash flow. It means freedom and it means choices. It means being able to relocate yourself, to access services, to make change for yourself, your children, your neighbors. And we know that when women have money, that's how they use it. So bringing it back to the technicalities that we have here. And we've said, why now? Why should we care? Private markets outperform. So when you buy a business and you participate either investing in one or buying one or operating one, you are participating in the private market. This is different than the public market. So stock markets or equities that are publicly traded. The truth is that private markets, or alternative investments as they're known, outperform every other type of equity class. And that has been, our chart there is from 2000. This is taken directly from Blackstone, one of the biggest financial firms in the world that you probably all know of. But we aren't told that as the average consumer, and we aren't given access to these products. Instead, they want to sell us mutual funds and ETFs at a 5 or 8% return and not have anything in your hands and the control. The other thing is that cash flow is for sale. And so, I'm a previous founder, my co-founder is a previous founder. We've gone through the rigmarole of starting a business, founding a business, and building everything from the ground up. I'm at a point now where I'm a bit precious. I really do care about making change at a bigger level. And once I understood that I could buy a business, that I could own it, that I could participate in its growth and direction and not have to go through not only the physical labor, but the emotional labor, unpaid labor of women that is put on us when we do things from the ground up, in which we no way usually consent to or are asked if that's something that we want to take on. The fact that you can buy cash flow is very exciting, and that's an immediate up level that's available to you and everyone around you. And I've already harped on this. We're the first to serve. When we've got money, we know how we steward it, and that's usually in ways that are incredible for everyone around us. Paycheck to paycheck, boring, done with it. Lifestyle investing, way cooler. That's where I want to be. What does it really mean to be lifestyle investing? So we've got all kinds of fancy charts here for you. But ultimately, what we want to take you through is the journey of investing for a better today, investing for the future, and diversifying so that your heart's desire and your actual passion and purpose can be actualized in this lifetime for you. So taking you from LP to philanthropy, what does that really mean? We've developed a methodology. It's the Celestial Way. It's a very standard private equity playbook, but we've broken it down into a community model that can make sense for any woman, no matter where she's at in her financial journey. Whether you've got $1 or $1 million, we've got something for you, and we've got it in a community style. So first, we want to invest for income. What does that mean? I literally get thrilled when I know that a woman is invested at a point where your day-to-day expenses are covered by your investments. So the fact that you own this business and it is bringing you enough cash flow personally on a monthly, quarterly, or yearly basis that there is food in your fridge as a result, with no additional labor or job required by you. Great. Okay, we've mastered that level. 2, time to invest for some growth. You want to upgrade, invest in assets that are covering added expenses. So maybe now we can add some sophisticated little twists, bring in, I'll say words such as secondaries, bring in other asset classes, start to grow businesses, merge businesses, do cool things with the ownership of these businesses that can up-level you and your journey and your families. 3rd, investing in change. As I started out saying, I believe that every woman at heart is either a humanitarian or a philanthropist, and we want to be able to go on that journey with you. So being able to invest in what you truly care about, in people and the planet, we know that that's ultimately what you're here to do, but it just seems so far away when you're at ground zero. So if you have an entire community that's backing you and all of the tools, the processes, the playbook, and access to those cap tables that seem so out of reach, what would you do? How would you choose to spend that time, and where would you allocate those dollars? Becoming a professional investor. I always thought that being a sophisticate or being sophisticated meant like being the upper crust of society, and that there was no greater social clout than that. As I entered this world, I really realized that there's honestly so much of a facade, so much of a mask, so much cultural distortion into what is happening in the financial markets, the people that work them, run them, power them, and that it's important for you to really understand and take control of your investor's journey and doing it in a way that assimilates into your own life. So it's like a great diet, right? Diets don't actually work, but when you make the lifestyle change and you incorporate managing your money into part of your day-to-day and who you are and your identity, and it's just as easy as 1, 2, 3, we can start to make shifts that really last. And so the fact that we have built our company around taking you through that journey and being alongside you in actually taking action. So I'm going to emphasize that we're not another education company. There are tons of incredible women doing the important job of educating women on how to take these steps, but then you're left with no action. So I don't want to go to a Tony Robbins seminar and get all the rah, 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 and then not have any help integrating and actually taking the steps in my life, right? That's just a whole up level of energy and the big crash when I look around at home and I'm still alone. So becoming a professional investor is actually a lot more informal than it seems. Kinds of deals that we do. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. So low risk, cash strong businesses. We really do our best to de-risk the profiles of the businesses that we're looking at. And we've got the playbook. So we know what the JP Morgans, Goldman Sachs, Blackstones of the world are looking at, all of those classes, et cetera. And we break that down into the dental offices, e-coms, car washes of today. And how can we just apply that to the average consumer? We already understand that profile. And so that's what we're looking for, that sweet spot of cash. Giving you continuous income and tangible assets. So if it's not something that's cash flowing, if it's not something that's going to benefit you by having an asset to your name, we don't look at it. We're not in it for the clout. I'm not in it to be like the biggest and best VC in the world. I want actual money in my pocket, in your pocket, and an asset that makes your name have something that you can leverage. Lastly, we look at things that build community. So there's our investors community and the community that you'll join when you work with us. But there's also the community of women that you build and rub shoulders with and now get to up level with when you become a business owner. That's a whole new identity, and we're there with you in that process. Cash flow first. I'm going to repeat this and harp on this the whole way through. So shopping. Everyone in the chat, I'm sure there's a part of you that is a shopaholic. I am a shoe freak, and it got to the point where there's only so much you can do. So now it's really about my favorite kind of window shopping, which is buying businesses. Flippa is a great example of that. We've created a community where inside our deal flow house, you are looking at open deals, and these are things where we've gone through the process of vetting, the diligence, understanding that we're going to invest in it anyways. We're already investing in it, and you are welcome to come along. The other thing is that we make sure that all of this is done in language that everyone can actually understand. I cannot emphasize the importance of this, that when you are being explained something in financial terms, to insist on the fact that it is spelled out in a way that's very clear for you without the jargon, because that's actually a criteria that you can look for to understand if you're being misled. Is it so overly complicated that I can't explain it to my parents? So I love telling people, tell it to me like I'm 5. And that's become really effective for us in preparing our documents so that we can ensure every woman can be included and that she can understand what we are doing. The other thing, I have the attention span of a housefly. So if what you're doing is more than 3 steps or super like long emails or PDFs with 60 pages of investment memorandums, I'm out. You've lost my attention. I've got way too much going on, and or the belief will kick in that it's too complicated. So we have developed systems, processes, and we look to work with tools and back office service providers where it's literally click, read and understand, sign the document, and then send your wire. That's the level of complication, right? So if you're picking up on the sarcasm, we want it to be as easy as possible for you. Congratulations, you are a business owner. 3 steps, literally. It's very important to me that we make a woman wealthier with every transaction. That's ultimately the heart of what we're doing. And we're doing that by buying up Main Street. I really do think that it's important that we focus on the cornerstones of community that are often overlooked. The mom and pop shops, the dentist's office, the medical clinics, the blow dry bar, etc., that are keeping the people that employed, but also that are going to be around for time to come. They can't be bought up by Amazon. And in general, whether there's a recession or not, that you're still frequenting them. So if you want to hold your phone up to your screen, we've made it super simple for you to learn more about us and to apply to be part of our community. It's very few questions that we ask you. We just want to know who you are, what your dreams are. Do you have a LinkedIn profile? Can we understand where you're at? We'd love to have you. And lastly, here's how you connect with me. I always welcome personal connection and invitation. We really do want to impress upon you that it is everything that a Wall Street investment firm would have, but it's not made to feel that way. I hope that we never feel that way. Aside from the suit and tie today, you will generally find me, in a t-shirt with a huge chain, and just really wanting to make this relatable and accessible for women, and welcoming you on your business ownership journey and hoping to do it alongside you.